I know I'm muted. Greetings, Mr. Link. I have come to deliver a letter. There's a letter for you. 2 letters, in fact. God, I love the mailman. Onwards to mail! Thank you very much, Sonoshi. Much appreciated and obliged, sir. Thank you. No, I have not, Fukianda. How the heck does that happen? Hang on, I got stuff everywhere right now. There we go. So that was from Sonoshi towards something that will not happen for probably about a year. Thank you again very, very much. Much appreciated, sir. Oops, I don't have... Or is it... Oh god, I don't even remember. I think it's this. Let's find out after a second here. Yep, I was right. Going off of vague memories here. Would you... God, they're so annoying! Why do they exist? I just answered that question, of course. I think we can all agree onwards to mail. Did you know that whether you grab a cliff ledge with one hand or two is actually RNG? It's interesting because if you grab it with one hand, it takes longer to pull up than if you grab it with 2 hands. So that's another speedrun thing that is delayed because of nothing other than RNG. Just weird things about this game to think about. I think it's this way? Yep, it's this way. I'm right. Well, you can speedrun the game if you want. It's just there's a couple weird RNG elements to it. It's probably worth noting that the majority of speedruns for this, even the 100% runs, don't actually do the game in any kind of proper order. Like, even the 100% run is like, alright, so first I'm gonna get the Master Sword. First thing. Then, once I got that, I'm gonna go kill the bugs for all of this, you know, for the Twilight thing. I'm not gonna pick up the the actual light things. I'm just gonna go kill the bugs and leave the life things there. Only for a few minutes. They're insane. Really? Okay. And yeah, this game can get very amusing if you just completely break it. There we go. Link? I'm already in a bad mood. Could you do me a favor and not be a craphead right now? Just wondering. Anyways. Time to go into the Hard on the Eyes section. Uh-oh. You gotta be kidding me, Mind Blast. So this sucks, what just happened. You ever play a Zelda game, and there's like one tiny little thing that just gets in the way of you getting around the way you want to? Well, that's what just happened. It's gonna be actually a while until we fix that little problem. Well, that's actually easy to answer, Disco. For the most part, the monsters aren't actually there. I know that sounds like a strange statement, but for the most part, in Zelda games, the only times there's monsters out and about is during the games. So they're not actually there, normally. See you around, Cord. Yeah, it sounds to me, Mind Blast, like he just wanted an excuse to say no. Yeah, this is actually shown in a couple of the games, Fuyukyando. Probably the most obvious one is Breath of the Wild, but a few of them showcase the idea of the monsters basically not even being, like, there at all. They spawn as a consequence of some kind of, as Pugady puts it, reincarnation of demise showing up. Yeah, exactly. Think of it this way, Mind Blast. You just dodged a bullet, sir. Yeah, I know, it's not as extensive as I'd like it to be for you, Kondo, but I do research on a fairly regular basis to try and keep up to date on things. Speaking of which, at some point I want to show off something really weird about the map of this game that I never noticed before. I can't do it yet. We need more of the map filled out to really do it properly. So, Twilight time! MLP reference. We're walking. Notice the weird stuff on the side walls. Don't forget that for later. Actually, I've always considered that to be true personally, Pugady, but that's a lot of that is based on things like Wind Waker, for example, where the Bubblins or Blins in general. Oh, right, I need to. Don't actually seem to be, you know, monsters. Basically, they seem to have the ability to think and reason, whereas a lot of the other monsters don't. They're just. Ah, finally here. Only one shadow left, so this is the last of the Twilight. Totally. Well, like I said, Alex, that's kind of how I think of the Blins in general. So, welcome to what is probably the worst part of the game, honestly. One of the things that they did... One of the things that they did when they were designing this game is they wanted to get away from the idea that the overworld was just a vector to get to the dungeons, which was a design mentality they had in most of the previous Zelda games, including Ocarina. And Wind Waker, while we're on the subject. Well... that meant as a natural consequence that they decided to turn the overworld into, effectively, another dungeon. I've actually mentioned this as kind of the sub...
Welcome.
No, Vigilant, no!
Hopefully you'll learn something.
Why, Vigilant? You were the chosen one. You're supposed to stop the donations, not leave them in darkness. Wait, that doesn't quite work, does it? You're supposed to leave them in darkness, not keep them going, I guess? Shoot, help me out, guys. I love how you just one-shot smaller enemies as a wolf. You just, and they're dead. Throw their corpse away. Now I gotta go check what Bishop donated. Hang on. I have no idea. I haven't seen her in months, is the answer to that, Vigilant. And thank you very much, as always, for the donation. Whoops. No, save. There we go. Much obliged, sir. So I was thinking about this. Hang on. So I actually have a couple things to talk about here. So... you were supposed to stop the donations, not cover me in money. I like that one. Overworld as a function of dungeon design. This is why there's been kind of a sub-dungeon leading up to every one of the dungeons so far. And that will continue to be a trend in weirder and weirder ways as we go throughout the course of the game. It's Ilya, who's totally not dead, unfortunately. Not that I'm in favor of people dying horribly, but, I mean, she should have totally died horribly. She should also be older. She should be at least 20-something, and she does not look it. You smell the girl, don't you? I can tell by the look in your face. Well, good. It's another clue, then. But the scent could be quite old. I wonder if she's still alright. Anyways, this might actually qualify as a negative. I haven't actually decided yet, since we've already given a negative for the Twilight sections in general. This is a fairly large section of gameplay before we get to the next dungeon. Like, we have a ways to go before we get to Dungeon 3. The going's gonna be a lot harder from here on out. Thanks. Okay, thanks. So we'll kind of decide as we go through this if this deserves another negative or not. Not that I want to be negative at the moment or not. But this is related in many ways to Paper Mario 2. Hear me out. Yeah, exactly, for you, Gondo. So, how is this a negative? You'll see. We'll debate it. That's the whole point. We'll debate it. So, Paper Mario 2 is one of my favorite games of all time, right? It's a really awesome game. But as we kind of discovered when we went back through with the Lorerun, the in-depth classic, as much as it had... as much as it had a lot of pluses, it also, as a consequence of its overall size and approach, had more negatives. In short, its net score was actually equivalent to Paper Mario 1, even though I would consider Paper Mario 2 a better game than Paper Mario 1 in basically every way. This is admittedly one of the flaws of the pluses and minuses system. This is something Max Time's actually brought up, too, in the past. The idea here is Paper Mario 2 had more good, but also more bad. Whereas Paper Mario 1 had less bad, but less good. And the two kind of equaled out to be the same. I would still call Paper Mario 2 a better game. More enjoyable, more fun, better story, etc. It just had more flaws. Now you're probably thinking, Laura, why are you bringing this up? Because even though I think this game is better than Ocarina, it is actually within the realm of possibility that it might review as worse than Ocarina, because of having more flaws than Ocarina. We'll see, obviously. I mean, I can't judge that now. But I had that thought the other day. And by the other day, I mean literally yesterday. Like, for example, this is stupid. You can't hit them while they're down like that. You just have to wait. Yes, of course, Ocarina is true perfection. Wait, no it isn't. It can't be. It's not WoW Vanilla. God, I am snarky. That is true, Javin. And it's worth noting that there have been games like Tales of Vesperia is actually a good example. Probably this one, Ventures. I say probably because it changes based on when you ask me. Waiting, and hurrah! It's worth noting a game like, again, Tales of Vesperia is a good example of a game that kind of averaged out to be kind of eh, but mostly had a lot of negatives and a lot of positives, which makes sense. Or like FF15 is another good example. A very good, flawed game. And that actually makes a lot of sense to me. But anyways. Actually, I only gave a negative to one dungeon in Ocarina, in hindsight and on replay. The Ice Cavern, which is a crap dungeon. So welcome to Castletown. This is actually our first time going here. One of the cooler things they did here was they went ahead and had a lot of NPCs Now, to compensate for this, you can't talk to most of them. Like this lady, or this kid, or this dude. But there are at least quite a few NPCs here, which helps to flesh out the city and make it feel a little bit more like a city. Even though it's actually more like a town square, which is what it is. So even though we do have definitive SNES RPG effect going on, they're still doing a decent job with it, and I wanted to comment on that. Hey, did you hear they say a Zora child collapsed near here? I thought Zoras were typically up north. Wonder why one came down here. I heard he was taken to the bar. The bar? Telma's place? Oh, she's got it rough. We actually already discussed that, Baron. To reiterate, we don't know. And the rest is speculation. And I'm not surprised at all. No, Papa Neeks. I hate to break this to you guys, but Ragnaros is not a difficult boss. Never was. You know why Ragnaros was difficult? Because people didn't know what aggro was back in the day. Or how to stack fire resistance, or what mechanics were. Actually, I usually call this Lindblom effect nowadays. But you can see how I can't talk to basically any of these people, but you see how there's quite a few people just walking around. This guy's carrying some goods from point A to point B. The guards are just kind of like, yep, we're here. Something going on at the fountain. I'm going to put my feet up at Telma's bar when I'm done with work. Yeah, I don't remember if I've added it to the website or not, because I've been having issues with doing that lately. But, yes, Lindblom effect. The fact that we can't take a bath because of the water outage, that's a big deal. I think it's fine. It's not like you smell. Doesn't bother me. Well, maybe it doesn't bother you, but you're the one who stinks. So, yes. It's kind of hard to tell, but the fountain basically doesn't have any water in it. I know. Yeah, this makes it a little bit more clear. The fountain's basically empty. So, I think Baron asked the other day if, if Hyrule could continue to exist, given its current circumstances. The answer is no. 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 The problem here is, in addition to the obvious Twilight Spirit effect, which they're not aware of, it's worth noting. They don't know that they're in the Twilight Realm. They just kind of have a vague idea that things are wrong. But in addition to that, there are other related problems, like the fact that they can't grow food, or that they're getting picked off by shadow beasts, or that they're out of water. Think about that for a second. Just picture what that would be like. I mean, they probably have reserves. They could probably last a few days, but that's it. I know there's no water in town right now, but the more people fret, the less it concerns me. Seems only the gossips are truly worried. I wonder, is it better to worry aloud or to keep silent? Now that is an interesting quote in the modern era, isn't it? I wonder why the water's out. Oh, no. Yeah, sorry, I was going to explain Lindblom effect as soon as I finish this section. If this water outage continues, we soon won't have to be able to relax with a cup of tea. Ah, no tea. Such is life nowadays. Because of the water outage, they can't take any drink orders. I think that's fine. You've been drinking too much juice lately anyways. Juice. Oh god, you're totally right, Max Time. I don't think I ever... When did Arkham Asylum come out? Can someone look up the date on that, please? So Lindblom in Final Fantasy IX is a very lived-in town. A lot. Okay, 2009, so it was later. A lot of effort was put into making Lindblom feel like an actual city that you go through. Lots of NPCs to talk to, lots of events happening in the background, lots of stalls and markets and work and just houses and everything, right? Huge amount of effort. It's also a PS1 game, so it's very impressive that they managed to make Lindblom feel alive with the limitations of a PlayStation 1 game. Hence, Lindblom effect. Oh, come on, Max Time. You know how stupid I am. No pushing. If you want Hot Spring Water, form a line. Okay, so this is amusing. Is it true Lake Hylia dried up? Yep. Okay, so hang on. Let's talk to him first. I have a limited supply of hot spring water. The race goes to the swift, as is said. Say, not all the Gorons are good, guys. He's literally selling spring water, which is supposed to be for another purpose. You know, it's supposed to be hot spring water, and he's just selling it to people who just want water. That's what the soldier said by the spring said is true. Oh, spirits of Lorerun, please deliver merciful rain, Lorerun, to Lake Hylia in the west. It's going to happen to us if we run out of hot spring water too, which you will. I hadn't heard there was a drought in western Hyrule. Before the water supply runs out, we must stock up on water, even hot spring water, whatever we can get. Is this the back of the line? And notice how this line also prevents you from going south right now, which is the actual reason this is here, gaming design-wise. That's a good question, Boogity. I'd have to think about that. Come on. So, we don't actually have the thing yet, so we can't collect that. But that's okay, it's there for later. Oh, he's not here yet. So, I want to do this first. So first of all, there's the world map. I received order above to go to investigate the lake spring, which is right there. Nah, not yet. We've had a ton of complaints from citizens who can't send prayers to the spring spirit of Lake Hylia. How would they know? Go there. The location is the one I showed you on the map. Got it? This is optional. This just indicates where you're supposed to go next. Asterisk, Aethel. Big asterisk. So this is Telma. Not her. That's Telma. I like Telma. She's a cool character. This boy, can you save him? Alright, little lady, try to settle down, okay? I just now sent for the doctor. This is strange. Child of the Zoras. I wonder if this is all related to the incident the soldiers are talking about him back. Oh, what an emotional reunion. A girl and her wolf. Sorry, but you know how it goes. These folks can't see you either. And I hope that answers you, Alex. This boy is so young and so innocent. See him suffering like this. He'll be alright, little lady. Someone's already gone for the doctor. Tell you, though, from what the soldiers in the back were saying about everything else, sure has been a rash of trouble lately. Yeah, I like Telma for the simple fact that she's a surprisingly decent person who also happens to be a woman of action. And those two facts combine to make her someone I actually like. I mean, I know that sounds like a strange statement. Yeah, we'll go show this up really quick. Just kind of filling out the map. Although, I wonder... Hang on. Ah, that's the... Sorry, wrong place. Wrong place. This is the one. Agatha's Castle. There's this dude. This is the closest we get to Tingle in this game, by the way. Soon I shall make a killing off this town. Yes, evil laughter. To be continued. Tingle's, let's save that discussion for later. Because he'll actually show up in Wind Waker. And we didn't play Majora's, so... Oh, nope, I want to go this way. So Aethel asks, is this the last of the Zelda timeline? It would be more accurate to say that there are Zelda timelines, because of course there are. And we've already discussed this, but to answer in simplicity, there are 3 primary Zelda timelines. Now, this should be the last game in this particular timeline. It is not because of stupidity. So in short, this is actually the second to last game within this particular timeline. It's also worth noting this is the least developed timeline. Because in this timeline, there's Twilight Princess and Four Swords Adventures, and that's it. That's the end of that. As opposed to the Wind Waker timeline, which goes Wind Waker, Phantom Hourglass, Spirit Tracks, or the timeline, which totally doesn't exist, which goes LTTP, Link's Awakening, Oracles, and then Link Between Worlds, and then 1, and then 2. Oh, I know, Max Time. I've complained about that several times. As I've said many times, it makes less sense to do timelines in Zelda, and more sense to do time brackets, or rather story brackets. So, since I know not all of you heard me say this, so forgive me for repeating myself. Notice how much the lake has shrunk up, by the way. That's just ridiculous. So forgive me for repeating myself. LTTP, Oracles, Link's Awakening, 1, 2, and Link Between Worlds all kind of fit pretty well together. Ocarina, Wind Waker, Majora's Mask, Twilight Princess, Phantom Hourglass, and Spirit Tracks all fit pretty well together. Minish Cap, Four Swords, and Four Swords Adventures fit pretty well together. This is how I tend to think of it, because that's how because it makes sense. I don't know how to finish that sentence. Because instead of the triple timeline shenanigans they put up with. What's all this oil on the ground? Yeah, it just smells weird. Dicks. Oh, no, we're trapped. Get us out of here! And the camera shoves over to the crates. In case you didn't know what you're supposed to do here. Nice little touch. I actually had no idea what to do there the first time I played that, and I just died. The 3 timelines thing I can just hand wave away. I've already given my complaints about that. No, the one aspect of the timeline shenanigans, the two timeline shenanigans that really piss me off are Breath of the Wild and the Four Swords Adventure thing. There's no reason to chop that up so hard. Like Max Time yesterday made the comment, how could games that happen millennia after each other, and with games in between them, be direct sequels? But it is! When I do this, I'll do this for the actual marathon. I will play Minish Cap, and then I'll play Four Swords Adventures, and you'll see how it's a direct sequel. Despite everything. Oh, was it you, Max Time? I'm sorry. Someone said that. Someone not as cool and awesome as Max Time. For the record, by the way, I would be completely down with Nintendo porting its games to Steam. Or GOG, or whatever. In fact, I would go so far as to call that awesome. I mean, I thought it was awesome when Square started doing that, like, what, 5 years ago now? So, the drop in water's been faster than predicted. At this rate, Lake Hylia will dry up. It's a race against time. We've had absolutely no water flowing from upstream. There's no mistaking it. Something must have happened at the water source in our home, Zora's domain. This is not how people talk. How are we to return upstream? With the way things are, we can't even walk back there. So for the longest time, I didn't realize those were helmets because small TV, GameCube game. Those are helmets. I mean it, Max Time. I'm not just... I know it's really hard to tell when I'm joking, when I'm being serious, and I do apologize for that. But you are an awesome dude, Max Time. So this is kind of funny. So I'm just trying to show this off. Notice how it's, it doesn't really look like it's sitting naturally there. Now this actually makes perfect sense. You'll notice it's got air barrels, or whatever the proper term is for that, to keep it buoyed on the water. Well, in short, this is supposed to be on the water, but there's no water here. Now, I want you to picture being the guy who's on this little house thing. Buoyancy barrels, thank you. A person who's on this house thing as the lake is just doing this. just picture what that would feel like for a second. Like, oh my god, what's happening? I'm too old for this. Fire and Falby's watertop land of Fantastification. It's our grand reopening at our new lake bottom location. Whee. Yeah, nice lake. Don't lakes have more, I don't know, water? Do the Zoras who live upriver do something? Or is it a curse from the spirit around here? Yeah, whatever. It's not like I can go up and complain. That's way too high. What is that, a customer? Oh, it's a monster! I'll save you, buddy. Yeah, there's a lot of detail in this game. It is truly phenomenal how much attention to detail this game has. This is going to sound like an odd question, Huthor, but can you come up with an example that isn't Dark Souls? So this is funny. He grabs the falcon reed and summons the falcon. And so the falcon comes. But, well, he looks a little different. Sometimes you can get him that second time, if you're actually good at the game. Probably should use that attack more often, it is quicker. There is no such thing, Sildur. No, that... Hey, stop it. I'm your new master now, so settle down. Hey, why don't we use this guy to get all the way to the lake's water source? So... there's us in his talons. So technically we're playing Midna right now, piloting the Falcon while it carries us. Bioshock and Half-Life. Oh, you mean like separate from each other? I thought you meant like Bioshock connecting to Half-Life. I mean, Huthor, I know you're insane and all, but usually I say that jokingly. So then we have this section. So let's pay attention, shall we? First we had a couple of minor enemy encounters and another scent trail, you know, a detective vision thing. Then we had a town encounter where we talked to NPCs and learned a little bit more about the story and lore and all that fun stuff. Damn it, Uthor, no! No! Pull back! Pull back! Then we had to go here. Barely escape from an encounter, which we didn't actually defeat, we just survived it. Then we had to defeat this enemy. Now we have to go upriver. In this flying minigame section. Now, I'm pointing all this out because you'll notice how they're hitting us with a different type of gameplay element basically at every step of this journey. That will continue to be true for most of this. This is one of the biggest reasons I say this might not deserve a negative, because even though this is a fairly lengthy section of gameplay, which we're not even halfway through at the moment, it is at least varied. As I said, trying to turn the overworld into a dungeon, at least in gameplay design. By the way, it's hard to really get across how this feels to fly. Basically, you have a little bit of control, unless you're dashing, in which case you have a lot of control. It's just weird. Well, you know what I mean, Pogody. That's a literal quote from the developer, not me. But the intent was to make these, in design terminology, dungeons, as in something that is intended to task and challenge the player with obstacles and puzzles and encounters and blah, blah, blah. Here already? That bird turned out to be more useful than I expected. Well then, where's the village of the Zoras? Let's go look at it. It's getting cold. Hurry up. Okay, okay. But first, remember the guy who gave us the lamp? Well, here's his sister. What are those Zoras up to anyways? You can tell because of the hair. Rivers run totally dry, right? I can't work like this. I love... Look at her hair. It's the only part of her body that has jiggle physics. It's just... It's kind of mesmerizing. Seeing it just sort of... Ahem. It's so cold. Ugh, I miss my fur coat. Sorry, lady. So now we have a problem because we can't get across. Because this is actually hysterical. So there's the bridge down there. Hang on. Do you see it? Do you see the bridge down there? Now, this makes a weird amount of sense, but at the same time makes no sense at all. So the designer of this place, in lore, built a platform on this side of the water and a platform on that side, and then rather than connecting the bridges, they made a completely separate platform which just floats on the water once the water level's actually there. Just... Anyways, time to go into the frosty area. Now this gets a little bit hard to see because we have the bloom effect in addition to the twilight effect, in addition to the additional glow from the snow and ice, and the white glare from the snow and ice. So that's like 4 different ways in which this area is kind of hard to navigate. On the GameCube version, on a small TV, this kind of sucked. It looks like it actually looks a little bit easier to tell here, but... Oh, hey, what's going on here? I thought it was getting colder, but who would have thought it would all be frozen? This is the Zora village, right? Why don't I see any then? Well, anyways, let's check it out. Let's find the Zoras. Hang on. Don't want any keys when I'm doing the section I'm about to do here. Of course I do, Disco. That's... What? Hey guys, did you know if you hit the attack button you can attack? I think Disco's taking the piss out on me at this point. It's okay, I deserve it. I deserve it. I've been irritable today. I apologize, Disco, for being irritable. There's no need to make fun of me. There we go. Come on. Ah, whatever, screw it. I mean, it makes sense. It's frozen, right? Or it's frozen. It's ice. What are you going to do to deal with it? So, how many times do you think I'm going to screw this up? Yeah, by the way, that is what he's referring to. This is the short attack. You can also hold down to do that attack. I tend to prefer to do the launch attack, though, especially against most of these enemies, because, you know, it'll one-shot him if I do it right. So that's one mistake. Did you see what happened? One more time. Now this is actually amusing to me, but I'll show off why in just a second. Whoops. Come on, there you go. So you see that? So, what happens is there's an initial one, that's actually this one right here, and this initial one, it just kind of wavers and falls. It doesn't actually get in your way. There is a warning of the fact that there's the second one, which if you jump too quickly, you will run into. Now, that's kind of irritating, but what I like about this, or rather I should say what could be much worse about this, is it only happens once. I mean, that makes sense, right? It's not like another icicle is just going to suddenly spawn in the air and then fall again, right? Ooh, too far. Okay, let's stop being murderous. Let's just live and let live. See, much better. Oh my god, John. I don't either, Kira. That's why I've already given it a negative. Yeah, it's not cruel. No pun intended. Oh, I know what you meant, Kira. Portal open. We can warp. Well, before we warp... So, you probably already see the horror here, right? And it's actually really messed up if you think about it. Because, well, this whole time, pretty much ever since we first became a wolf, the game has been emphasizing to us that those little spirit things, that indicates a person. And if we put on sense mode, we can see the person. Now, that's just been kind of a thing up until this point. When we get here, and we see a giant chunk of ice with lots and lots of spirits in it. This is messed up. Notice how all of them were basically in motion when it happened. So they were frozen like that. This was not a slow process. This was a flash freeze. This is really strange. What in the world happened? Hey, what do you want to do? We can't just leave them like this. Notice that's one of the first times she's showing explicit care about other people, about strangers, basically. I just want to point that out. See you around, Javin. I just wanted to point that out because, as I mentioned before, she's not a bad person. She's, in fact, a very good person. But she seemed like a bad person because of how defensive she is. And bit by bit, she's just kind of slowly letting that mask slip. Okay, we need to thaw them out. It doesn't no good to... let's leave and come back later. The portal should work for us. Let's go figure out a way to save them. Okay. Well... let's see... Yeah, we don't know exactly how cognizant they are in there. It is probably worth noting this is magical ice. In fact, this is literally cursed ice. So even though they should probably be dead, they're not. Whether that's better or worse, that's up to you. Fast travel, more than meets the eye. Let's see, is that the one I want? No, this is the one I want. Kinda, yeah, Huthor. That's not a bad parallel. For those of you who are not aware, the Frozen Throne isn't actually made of ice. It's made of cursed magic in the form of ice from the Twisting Nether. So you remember this? You remember how I mentioned there's a lot of little threads that connect in this game? That really add to the enjoyment factor. True enough, Kira. So, flaming hot rock. icy river. Yeah, by the way, it's worth noting, this is Midna when she is weakened. Just to help emphasize how powerful of a mage she was. It's worth noting that the Twilight specifically choose their leaders, in addition to the other factors, based on how magically competent they are. So Midna, the person who was supposed to become their new leader, being extremely magically competent makes sense. In fact, it's possible she is the second most powerful mage in the entire setting, only behind Ganondorf. Yes, that is stated flat out, Pogody. There are other factors, but that is something that is stated in the game, not just in the encyclopedia. Something so dangerous would come in handy. Alright, Zoras are safe now, so let's go. The ice melted. The ice stone has melted and restored water flow to normal. Can we finally meet the spirit of Lake Hylia? Notice how they're all just kind of... Oh, God. Like, they're all just barely with it here. And that makes perfect sense. Credit to the game for bothering to show how much these people are just struggling after that. It would have actually irritated me if they were just like, hi, I'm fine. You know. No. Instead, they're just like, oh, God. Oh, God. You know. Are you okay? What about those in the waterfall pool? Uh-oh, we should go check on them. Wait. F. Please, you must allow me to thank you for revitalizing both my people and this spring, which is the water source for all the lands of Hyrule. In life, I was the elder of this Zora village and the queen of my people. I was called Rutella. Not to be rude, but we didn't exactly do it for you guys. Yes, you did. The Dark Ones. They raided this village and, as a message to my people, executed me before them. Young man, you who take the form of a proud beast, I have something to ask of you. When the Dark Ones descended on our village, I sent my young one, Rallis, to Hyrule Castle to inform Princess Zelda of our fate. But I fear danger followed him from this doomed place. I feel it. His presence grows fainter to me over time. But my time in this world has passed, and though I would give it gladly, I no longer have a life to risk in his rescue. Please, would you save my dearest Prince Rallis? If you do this thing, I will bestow upon you the protection of water. This power will grant you the ability to swim. So we need... It's the blue tunic. We need the blue tunic. So if we help her, she'll grant you power to swim in water, huh? So, what do you say, hero? Oh, but now that I think about it, I don't suppose you should meet the Prince as a wolf, huh? So, no hurry to return to the world light, then, huh? Who is stupider, Zant or Malik? Malik. Zant is actually a good character, in my opinion. Like, he is a well-written character. He's just... He's a very particular puzzle piece. And they do a good job with him, in my opinion. I really like Zant as a character. Looks like the shock of the impact not only raised the water level, but sped up the flow, too. So we can go all the way down. Notice that So, this is probably the biggest insight into this area being a dungeon. We are effectively playing through a dungeon, and the simplest way to showcase it is we just unlocked a shortcut back. Think about it. Ugh, aren't you awake yet? Look, we got washed all the way down to Lake Hylia, just as I predicted. And it looks like we're right in front of the Spirit Spring. Exactly where we need to be. Backtracking? Piss on that. We got stuff to do. Good game design. So, I just skip through these, because they all say the same thing. Go get the tears. There's tears. No, so this is the part that kind of sucks. Everything we've gone through so far, other than the obvious Twilight problem, it's whatever. This kind of sucks. And I'm going to demonstrate why in just a second. Let's see if I can pull it up on screen. There we go. That's why. I don't know if you can really tell. It's pretty small there, but so there's a dot there, and a dot here, and a dot here, and 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 here. Look at that spread. For a little bit of a reminder, the last time we had to do a tier thing, it was like here. Or the first time, excuse me. The second time, it was basically like this section right here. Yeah. I get that escalation's a thing, but good God. Oh yeah, the final tier is just... We'll talk about the final tier when we get there. Anyway, someone asked how powerful Zant is. I will talk about this again when we actually fight him, which is be very far towards the end of the game. You know, second to last dungeon of the game. Zant is... I don't like to call him powerful because it's actually not accurate. At least not by the way I use the word. So there's skill, there's strength, and then there's power. Strength is raw. Skill is, you know, precision and utilization. Power is combination. You with me? So someone like Midna is very powerful. Someone like Ganondorf, very powerful. See you around, Salder. Someone like Zant is very strong, but he has no skill to back it up. None. In fact, as we will demonstrate as we fight him, he literally copies other people's attack patterns because he doesn't know what else to do. It's probably one of the only times ever that a boss refight sequence actually makes perfect sense and actually works for the game. I'm sorry, I shouldn't say that. There's probably another example of it, but it works very well here is what I'm trying to say. Come on, come on. I always loved the digital look of the Twilight. It's probably one of my favorite aesthetic choices in this game. Let's go grab this one while we're at it. Now, that being said, I do think the digital look doesn't really... Okay, so the digital look is obviously in massive contrast to the far more organic look of most of the game. And that's obviously being done on purpose. But I still think the contrast doesn't work for me. I think that's mostly because I don't like the organic look of most of the rest of the game. What's that over there? So if I was to rank every main Zelda villain, where would Zant rank? You mean like in preference, Malachor? Or like in how strong he is? Because I'm pretty sure Vadi would beat the crap out of him. Alright, let's go ahead and... Oh, Zant would be really low tier, relatively speaking. Oh, I haven't unlocked that one yet. Okay. No, sorry, I meant like in terms of preference. I like Vadi as a character, although he should have been more developed, but you know, we've talked about that. Did you know Vadi literally has no lines in Four Swords Adventures? 0. Yeah, that's cute. Anyways, getting back to the point though. In terms of a fight, again, Zant is raw strength, 0 skill, and he's also stupid on top of that. This is actually really well shown in Hyrule Warriors. I can't wait to actually show that game off because it does a lot of smart stuff. Because you can play as Zant in Hyrule Warriors. You know what his attacks are? It's like playing the Hulk with no finesse. That's playing Zant, and that makes sense. It's actually really fun to play as. He's literally just all of his attacks are very counterable, and it's really easy to be knocked out of it. But if he hits, he just destroys the crap out of everything around him. Just you know. Yeah, no kidding, Tara. No, less finesse than the Hulk, Blackfile. Less finesse. I'm really not being exaggerative there. Zant has nothing going for him. That's kind of the point. He is singularly pathetic. It's one of those old concepts that I see a lot in fiction, where someone who is a good... Actually, no, Malachor, but he is still fun. He is... How do I phrase this? He's a good puppet. There we go. That's how I want to phrase that. Because sometimes you have a character who's strong and powerful and cool. And then sometimes you have a character who's a good puppet. Whoops. Like, you get the point? Can you guess, Malachor? The Puppet King. He kind of is, yeah. So let's try to be a little more patient this time. There we go. Link? No. No, no, no. Darunia? Nope. You'll never guess. Or you can just start guessing, going down the list. I wanted to like Agatha, but I didn't. I mean, she's alright to play as. I missed. Get ahead of me again. Thank you. Thankfully, they get ahead of you if you miss them once. But you do have a limited time to get them. There we go. Sploosh. By the way, I expect to hear a lot of splooshes in chat once we get there. If you don't know what I'm talking about, don't worry about it. If you do know what I'm talking about, you're awesome. Sploosh. We're going to try that at least once. We have to show that off. Kaboom! Sploosh. Hello, Honcho Thumper. No, clearly I made Linkle. Duh. What's that? A bug? Oh, nasty. Why is it so big? I'm so sick of roughing it in the boonies. Huh? It's gone? That was nasty. Hope it doesn't come back. Ah, well. God, work is tanking just as hard as my personal life these days. Notice the bridge is now here. Bridge. What would you call that? Hovering, maneuvering assistant? I don't know. Yes, I know, game. Thank you. Oh. Hang on. I screwed up. And it's possible for me to kind of soft lock this thing. That's the wrong word, but it's possible to screw this up. So I need to make a note to myself, because I can fix this, but I can't fix this right now. So I'm going to have to fix this later. An awful engineering mistake. I like that name. Funnily enough, I think I've beaten Wind Waker the least of the main Zelda games, not counting, like, Breath of the Wild or, you know, more recent games.
Hey.
Do you think Prince Rallis passed through here? He must have. This is the only waterway that connects to Hyrule Castle. I screwed up. So, to put it simply, you see those stones that unlock the challenges where you get the sword stuff? So all of them except for the first one are optional. And you can basically get ahead of yourself in doing them, because I've actually unlocked the second one, but I haven't actually gone and done it. And I can only do it as a human, which I can't turn into right now. By the time I can turn into a human and go do it, which I will do, I will not actually be able to, you know, come back and get this stone again, because I won't be a wolf. Basically, I screwed up the order of events, and that's on me for being a moron. No, Baron. At least not with a normal capacity. Someone very skilled or powerful or whatever could probably pull it off, but elsewise, no. Okay. Come on, Link. There you go. Good boy. Yeah, I actually had one playthrough where, because of screwing that up, I actually never got the final attack. Which you can do, at least on the GameCube version. On the GameCube version, yes, Pogody. Like I said, I can speak to that. I could probably, if I could hook up my GameCube right now, I could probably show you the save where I didn't get that, because it's one of my most recent playthroughs, the one I was doing with my sister for the stream, I think. Either that or the one I did for the Rumination right after that, one of the two. So that's why I didn't access that stone there, if you're wondering what the hell I was doing with that. Now again, it's not a big deal, because after all, they're optional, right? You know, whatever. But, I'd kind of like to get them all, especially since the last one is actually pretty useful. In the interest of fairness, what I should probably do, and this just occurred to me, I should probably go ahead and actually try to get it, and see if it actually is still locked out. See if they fixed that problem, basically. So I think that's what I'm going to do. So, since I just got this warp point, also known as the most important warp point of the game, because it's the one to Castletown, let's go ahead and warp up. Sploosh. Sorry, I had to do it at least once. What the? Oh. That's my fault. Dot, dot, dot. Sure thing, let me just jump up there. By the way, for those curious, this is the last major Twilight section, and also the last time we have to do this bug minigame. So if you happen to hate this, don't worry, this is the end. Now, I am curious of your thoughts on this. I'm almost done with it. In fact, I'm only missing the one in town and the boss one. So, how bad do you think this is, really? Other than the obvious effect thing. Of, you know, obviousness. Other than the obvious problem, what do you think of this whole section? Because we're basically done with it. This is 1.12 or whatever Venters, so that's actually not a requirement anymore, but simply. They did make this better in this version. This is not the first time we've had that comment, actually. Because they did make this better in this version. I even actually had to do this basically twice because I screwed up the order of events. Which I just did again. God dang it, I can't believe I just did that. Hang on, let's go back through the same area a third time. That's on me. I'm auto-modding too much, I apologize. Take 2. 3. I mean, I'm with you on the visuals, Dakota. The real question is, since this is the last time we see the Twilight, does this deserve a second negative? Now, I'm not sure it does. It definitely deserves a negative, without question. But like I said, this is it for the Twilight stuff, really. Okay, don't auto mode. Don't auto mode. Don't auto mode. Don't auto mode. See, the contrast thing I'd be more with if it wasn't literally aggravating and irritating to perceive, regardless, right? Like, I'm with you on the contrast, but it's more of a, oh, thank God someone stopped punching my eyes, as opposed to, oh, this looks pretty, you know. Like I said earlier, it's too much, or, to be more accurate, it's too often. So, let's do this. And let's see if this locks us out of a thing. Hang on. There we go. Took me a second. I've only got 3 notes to work with, Boogity. That would be funny, Shikor. This is a good shot of the constructed area here, by the way. So let's see if he actually shows up when we get there. Because he might not. Yeah, it's definitely a negative if they haven't fixed it. That's why I just did that section twice more. So he's there. Is he also down here? It says he's down here, so there's 2 wolves on the screen. That's already a good sign. So, we'll see when we become a human again. Okay, so now to progress the plot. I hope they fixed it, because that was just such an aggravating bug. And really, really easy to screw up, as I just mentioned. I mean, hell, I screwed up this time because I just wasn't even trying to. So we'll see. Whee! God, I cannot just hold up in this controller. I had that problem with the 3DS too. Fun fact, by the way, I know it's hard to see, but if you look at the minimap there, you can already see the problem with transport in this game. Until we get to a certain point, basically, our ability to get around is actually going to be really hampered. You see that giant gap between Castletown and the section to the right of it, to the east of it? Yeah, that gap is a problem. And it'll actually take us a while to get to the point where we can solve that problem and then have full navigation. It's just like the heavy rock right south of Kakariko in LTTP, if you know what I'm talking about. One obstacle that just massively gets in the way of getting around. It's very strategically placed. I mean, you know they did that on purpose. Now, funnily enough, I've actually already taken out the bug here, so I just have to go and collect it. Not that way. One more alley. There we go. Plunk. What's going on? There should be one more. Where could the last tier be? Wait a second. There it is. What's going on? This is weird. I'm sure it's nothing. Poke our head in here really quick. See what's going on. You could skip several steps in this whole process, by the way, if you wish to. Odyssey, Poogity, no question. Okay, so... wasn't sure if they said anything new at this point. They do not. Yeah, it'd probably go Mario Odyssey, and then 3D World, Galaxy 2, and Sunshine would probably be the biggies for me. So, on the off chance you somehow didn't believe me about the whole dungeon design thing, we're about to fight a boss. That's right, a boss bug. Now, there are ways to attack it that don't involve biting it, but biting is the best way to attack it. So I want you to imagine what this tastes like. Just think about it for a minute, what this bug we're about to fight actually tastes like, because we're fighting it by biting it. I keep re-emphasizing this because every time I do this, it grosses me out. Yeah, you can see why I'm kind of torn on that one, Poogity. I mean, that makes sense, Dream Whisperer. At least to me. So there it is. What's it look like? That. I was about to say, use Flare Blitz! Use Flare Blitz! Where's our nuclear option? We need it! Oh, I screwed that up. Yep, I screwed that up. I can recover, though. I hate bugs. I hate bugs. One more should do it. Nope, we're good, we're good. Come on, get on top. There we go. No, this doesn't deserve a negative. If it was a really irritating boss fight, or if it made it to the point where I don't even want to play this section because it's so gross, or if you had to fight 5 of them in a row, you know, I can think of plenty of ways that could be a negative, but it's not. Okay, we did it. Yeah. Sure enough. Make sure to get the last fused shadow now. Alright, you ready for the really creepy cutscene? Okay, all joking aside, I know people who put this game down after this cutscene. I'm pretty sure it's this cutscene. Is this one or the next one? Pretty sure this is it, though. This is telling a very Huthor backstory of stuff that I've actually already told you. Maybe. This is the one I'm thinking of. My name is Lorerun. Your efforts have at last restored each of us light spirits in Hyrule. O hero chosen by the gods, dark power that you seek is at the temple of the bed of Lake Hylia. But before seeking it, you must bear witness to something and never forget it. You must know that it was the will of the goddesses that we lock away the forbidden power. Interesting next time. Yep, nope, this is it. This cutscene irritates me a bit. It's a little bit too creepy and weird for weird's sake. And what happens is actually really easy to explain, so I'll cover this again once we're done, on the off chance this doesn't make sense. So the goddesses existed and they made the world. Cool. The lands where the goddesses descended became known as the Sacred Realm. For ages, the people lived at ease, content in mind and body. Then the Hylian Civil War happened, which I've talked about many times. Word of the Sacred Realm spread through Hyrule, and a great battle ensued. I'm not kidding, this is referring to the Hylian Civil War. So we kill her first, before she can kill us. Among those living in the light, interlopers who excelled at magic appeared. This is the people who became the Twilight. Wielding powerful sorcery, they tried to establish dominion over the Sacred Realm and the world. That's a translation issue. As I mentioned, they were very powerful mages. So the goddesses crafted the light spirits to deal with them. This is actually a key point here, and the encyclopedia makes this clear. They didn't exist until this point. So the light spirits were literally designed, built, to seal away the fused shadow, and banish them into the Twilight Realm. It's possible the Twilight Realm didn't even exist before this, although there are hints that it's in Skyward, so... Then this I don't even know what the hell's going on with this. Those who do not know the danger of wielding power will, before long, be ruled by it. That's why we're showing you lots of Ilias for some... I don't get this. Anyone else got an interpretation of this scene? I mean, I got none. The repair you seek is in Lakebed Temple. Thanks. Thanks. Peace. Because it was too much for some people I know, Venters. I mean, that is pretty clearly weird for weird's sake. Hey, look, you can see the Arbiter grounds from here. But yeah, believe it or not, some people don't like drug moments. I actually know a couple people as well who basically don't watch certain Disney films, especially older Disney films, because of the drug moments in them. I'm a member of the Zora tribe, the proud people, the other Zoras are on guard, blah, 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 blah. Whoop, I'm not going to kill you, dude, I swear. I might not have enough rupees for this. Some of the Zoras are still alive down there? Thought maybe they dried up at the lake. Yeah, Dumbo's a good example of this. Probably not, Malachor, no. It's possible, though, but extremely unlikely. The only way that the interlopers would be the ones who built Majora's Mask is if we tie together several contingent threads. Put on such airs with their rituals and fancy temple hoo-ah, and they just disappear. Just putting the temple so deep human can't swim. I swear, those Zoras. Oh, are you a customer? You are one lucky fella. The height of excitement. Thrill of launching to the heavens. The very peak of flying fantastification. It can be yours for a limited time for 10... Okay, we have 10 rupees, thank God. Yeah, let's do it. So this is how we get back up. Speaking of weird for weird's sake. There's a lot of weird for weird's sake in this game, by the way. Like, a lot. So, that just happened. Oh, that reminds me of something. Didn't the Lake Queen ask you to do something? She asked you to find her son. The final piece is at the bottom of the Lake Hilly. It looks like we're going to need that ability. Okay, okay. It's going to do it anyways, but thanks for reminding me. Linda. Now, I'm going to go ahead and admit something, and you can go ahead and hate me for this. I don't care. At this point, my care is gone. My least favorite thing about this game, by far, is the weird. Like I said, there's a lot of weird. Some of the people look like they were made from clay that half melted. Sometimes there's people who are wearing pink and clown outfits who play a weird song in order to launch you out of a cannon. Sometimes there's well, we'll get there. But there's another thing, which is... anyway, sorry. Bad memories. We'll get there, we'll get there. Actually, I already have, Baron. Well, it's actually funny to me, an addendum to this, because... Oh yeah, and then there's also the light spirits, while we're on the subject. So, The actual developers flat out stated that they wanted to make this be a more realistic-looking Zelda. Like, that's actually a stated intent. I read that straight from the encyclopedia. It's an interview. They wanted to move away from the more cartoony look of Zelda. And then they made this game. We're gonna go and get this now. The other one would take a really long back trip to do, so we're not gonna do that right now. Then they went with the kind of the fused cartoon / realistic in Skyward, and then they made Breath of the Wild. Now, I actually like Breath of the Wild's aesthetic quite a bit. We meet again. You have a little more of the look of the hero than you did before. You ready for the next skill? Before we begin, I must test you to ensure you have mastered the skill you taught. So, you have to do the last skill to get the next one. Excellent. It appears you are certainly capable of performing my lost art. Very well. My second skill is the shield attack. Let it be hewn into your mind. I would say that Breath of the Wild is like a better Skyward. You know, better technology, you know, better processing, better lighting effects, less blur, or less bloom, excuse me. No matter how well-tempered a blade is, if a foe is clad in armor and bears a shield, the sword will do no harm. Yeah, I probably should have had this a while ago. This is an extremely useful attack. When facing such a foe, you must use this button to do this thing and to do this other thing. Excellent. Open a hole in your enemy's defenses and use your sword to strike without hesitation. You can also use this to propel projectile attacks. Let's see if I can actually do this properly. Perfect. When your enemies assail you with projectiles, this is how you will defeat them with ease. Probably the most overall useful skill, although there's another one we'll get later which is pretty damn useful as well. Correct, Max 10. That is Ocarina's Link. That's definitive at this point. That's canon, I should say, at this point. Hey, Epona. I mean, Bragwin. Don't get the mailman. Don't get the mailman. Greetings, Mr. Link. I have come to deliver a letter. 2 letters! Onwards to mail! I suppose I should read some of those. Let's see. What do we have here? So we got a letter from... I guess we're doing this in this order. Okay, so... If I have a letter for you, I will approach you at high speed. Please do not flee. New Sundries shop at Kakariko. If you haven't already been by, look. I have an item that isn't available anywhere else. Come by before someone else snatches it. And please, no window shoppers. Finally, we've finished production on a new type of bomb. These ones can be used in water and are basically mandatory to progress through the game. You can have them now. Come by and pick yours up. Thank you for your patronage. Enjoy the power of bombs. Blah, blah, blah. The Lorerun Tourist Association has prepared a grand tour of natural splendor. Our current main attraction is Isa and Henna's playground for grown-ups. You can find both immediately down the riverbank from the Zora waterpool. You have the rapid ride and the fishing hole. I know, right? Please do not flee. Come back. I have bail. What's funny is there's 3 different spots where he will spawn to get you if you have a male flag up right now. And obviously that's one of them, and so that's the most common one we're going to get. So. Is it showtime yet? The young man emceeing is so handsome. Oh, I can't wait to hear his lovely voice. I wish someone would go in soon. Oh, didn't need to do that again. Greetings and salutations, good sir. Welcome to the kingdom of hopes and fondest dreams. In this place you can taste the life of a circus star and get your hands on gear that boggles minds. It is our earnest hope that you will find delight playing the Star Game. The rules are exceedingly simple, so all you must endeavor to do is track down the glowing orbs and collect them before the time runs out. Rather outstanding name, I must say. Step right up! Shyness be gone! Nah, no thanks. Oh, my stars. Shock. Far be it for me to tell you your business, but if you loaf over much, another star might rise above yours. So, I don't know if it's physically possible to succeed at that without the hookshot. You're not supposed to be able to, whether you can or not. Nah, we had nothing to talk about, Darth Chapman, other than the vote, which you need to vote on. So make sure you vote on that poll right there. And we don't have any bugs yet, so we're not going to do that. Oh, I guess we could. What? What's up with you? You have some business at Agatha's castle? You don't look like you'd be a good friend of hers. She's creepy. Oh boy, I thought you were a giant grasshopper. But you're not a bug, you're a person. Still, you're wearing those clothes. That tells me you like bugs too. Oh boy, I forgot the formalities. You have an audience with the Princess of the Bug Kingdom. Agatha is my name. I've invited the 24 golden bugs of the world to the ball, but I don't know if they got lost on the way or what. But they're not here, that's for sure. If you see them, would you please bring them to Agatha's castle? Tell them the princess has a heart attack. Ugh. Oh, wait. Agatha is what I would call adorably creepy. It's her messages about the bugs that are just kind of eyebrow-raising. I'll never forget the one about her wanting to bathe in the slime of a bug. Just,
Oh.
My fortune said if I stand in front of a shop, a man wanting to date me would come talk to me. That's what you're doing, right? Sorry, you're not my type. My rupee count isn't doing so great. You ever been to Agatha's place? If you take a bug to her... Oh, I can't say anything else. Welcome, welcome. You don't look like you came here to buy meat. You a swordsman? Looking for the bar? It's down behind the well next to you. We see a lot of swordsmen down there. By the way, look at this. We got flowers, we got vegetables, we got fruit, we got chunks of bread, and loaves, and fish, and just all sorts of cool stuff. Forgive me for, once again, gushing about the level of attention to detail on this game. Especially for a GameCube game. Look at this. Anyways. Oh, you're a new face. Have you ever been in that shop? If not, you should really check it out sometime. Oh yes, you definitely should. Well, okay. Welcome! Oh, cool. I'll just head on in here. Excuse me! I'm terribly sorry, but having a customer in the store with shoes as filthy as yours can make our other clients uncomfortable. We hope you will come back once you have more polished footwear. Okay. Hey, your shoes are grimy. So, 10 rupees to walk into the shop. welcome to the most elegant shop in all of Hyrule Castle. Yes, yes, quite. Do pay attention, though. This is the same guy that'll be here later. That's relevant. Can I help you? Would you like me to show you something? Yes. Let's see. So he does sell a couple of things. Let's see. What's a blue potion? 40,000 rupees for a blue potion. How much would bombs cost? 12,000 rupees. And the only item we actually really want here, the magic armor. This is funny. We'll talk more about this later. 400,000 rupees. How will you be paying? How awful to be you. Yes, Darth Tyron. I'm a tour guide here. Have you already visited the Cave of the Spirit? If you're here to sightsee, you sure came at the right time. Until a little while ago, there's a bit of a problem we couldn't cross. Yeah, about that. You're welcome. This here's a robbery. What is it? You looking for a doctor or something? The only thing on this street's the doctor's office. Yeah, not right now. But I do want to fill out the map a little bit. There we go. Yeah, I wish we could see more of this. I was actually thinking about it. I was trying to think if there's any other Zelda that's had a lively town in it. Like this. Like, Ocarina kind of qualifies, but not really. Like, Ocarina was clearly the prototype for this idea. I feel like Minish had a decent town. Although that probably helps because we went through Minish basically twice. There's, you know, the town when you're big and the town when you're small. So there's another little side quest there. One of many. I'm going to go ahead and grab something real quick while we're here. Actually, I might go ahead and do that, too. It's a Poe! I can't do anything about it yet, because I can't rip out its soul. Whoops, wrong place. You got the female ladybug! Woo. So the bugs are actually easier to find than you'd think, which is kind of cool, honestly. As mentioned before, they glow. You can hear them. And they're all basically within the same... How do I phrase this? If you see a male of one, the female of one will not be particularly far from it. I don't have the... It's especially really easy to find them if it's nighttime. And I have seen that, yes, Pogody. Speaking of which, this is as good a time as any... This is as good a time as any to mention the fact that... So when they were designing... There it is. I knew it was over here somewhere. When they were designing the maps here, they went out of their way to design... See how they're on the same screen? To design it so that the Ocarina, Wind Waker, and Twilight Princess maps were roughly equivalent to each other. These are the only 3 games that put the effort into this. All the other games don't really fit. Not really. Hey, humans. The other Gorons told me about you, brother. Look at these rocks. Amazing. Is there a landslide or something? You trying to pass through here? If I drank some hot spring water, I could get through this big rock fall. Okay. There's another side quest. In the map... if you look at the map between Ocarina, Twilight Princess and Wind Waker all side by side, you'll notice, whoops! You'll notice that Outset Island, the island you start at in Wind Waker, is actually pretty much right in the same spot as the town that you start at in this game, whose name I suddenly can't think of. Here we go. Ordon Village, thank you. God. In fact, it's pretty much right here, like right about at this spot, is where Outset Village is on the map. Just funny little thing that I didn't know until I was reading the encyclopedia. I remember how to get that chest. Yeah, whatever. Doesn't matter. That's not what I'm here for. You notice we haven't even reached the third dungeon yet. Granted, I'm doing a couple of side things, but this is a huge chunk of time before we get to Dungeon 3. Which, if you're paying attention, is also a huge, pretty good chunk of time between we got to Dungeon 2, and a decent chunk of time before we got to Dungeon 1. That trend will stop happening after a certain bit. I think this is one of the reasons why people say the game speeds up after a bit, because the amount of time you spend in between dungeons, which serve as natural markers, shrinks over time. Actually, you know what? I don't have any bugs, sorry. I can sense it. The distinct pheromones of golden bugs on you. I know you have bugs. Okay, fine. I just wanted to show that off. That only happens if you say no to her. Which, generally you're not going to do. Have a bug. So the way this works, you give one of a type. Little ladybug, little ladybug. If I was smaller, I would get on your back and we'd fly around, which is actually an attack of hers in Hyrule Warriors. To be honest, I doubted you would. I guess some might consider me a poor-mannered princess. But from now on, if you bring me insects, I shall share my happiness with you. Okay, that wasn't true in the GameCube version. She didn't give us the big wallet right off the gate. At least I don't think she did. Or if she did, it wasn't 1,000 rupees. I know they improved the wallet size in this one, which is good because wallet size was a huge problem in the GameCube version. To give you an idea of how much of a problem, so if you try to pick up a rupee from a chest and you have no room for it, you put it back in the chest and a little error message plays, basically. By the time I was in Dungeon 2, I would run into the money carry limit. Well, see, Takoida, they fixed it, though. In the GameCube version, I would be completely with that. But here, it's been removed from a problem all of a sudden. In fact, you'll notice we didn't even hit the money cap. I don't even know what the default money cap is at this point. So, yeah, no, I don't think that deserves a negative. What is that? Oh, that's my printer. So yeah, this is a huge quality of life improvement. Holy crap. So. Here's our bug. I can't believe that. The first bug gives the big wallet. That's ridiculous. She says the same thing for each bug type, regardless of gender. And then she gives you money. It's actually supposed to be 50 for the one and then 100 for the double. And as a consequence, we're never going to want for money in this game. Especially since she gave us the wallet first. I can't believe that. I mean, at this point, they're just going to be rupees we can turn in later. Bounties, basically. Jesus. Actually, no, I'm going this way, aren't I? Nobody likes the dog. Okay, fine, here. There you go, dog. Have fun, have fun. He didn't run after it. If an event gives you money and you happen to be capped, then you're screwed. It bleeds off. You don't get it. Although I don't think there is such a thing in this one, but I could be wrong about that. Yeah, but I don't agree. I'm sorry, Dakota. Like, I get where you're coming from, but trust me when I say getting to 1,000 rupees is not frigging happening. So we've spent most of this game looking for Ilya. Naturally, she's barely even excited to see us. That is a Zara child. This is beyond my expertise. Imph. Imph. Dr. Wade, if something must done, the child will... So notice she has no reaction to us. The cat does. Well, this isn't good. Human doctor won't do, huh? There is none, Malachor. I shouldn't say that so definitively. That old coot reminded me, though. I've heard of a shaman in Kakariko in the Elden Lands who's tended Gorons and Zoras. Is that true? Maybe if we take him there... Inadvisable. Too dangerous. Can't turn a blind eye to a pretty girl in need, either. We'd better escort you, am I right, boys? Note these are professional soldiers. With equipment. Oh, ain't that nice? To reach Kakariko, we got to cross 2 plains that are infested by dangerous beasts. We'll be safe now. Cowards. Don't ever show your faces in here again. Oh my. Looks like we got one young swordsman left. Not only that, looks like this brave young man will escort us. So get ready to go, honey. Pronto. You know that girl, don't you? It's a real shame. She can't even remember her own name right now. Amnesia. Bless her heart. She found this poor boy collapsed in the road, so she did all she could to save him. More courage in that girl than all the soldiers of Hyrule, that's for sure. You lend your strength to her, you hear me? Second shot of the cat. She didn't get hit by the club. She got shot with an arrow, Poogity, if you remember. So, this section. This can go very, very wrong. But I kind of like it. So you say the bridge to the east had been destroyed. Then our only options cross the bridge to the west. And there's our good buddy King Bublin, which will be the 3rd time we've seen him now. See what that means? You'll have to deal with that thing. Nope, we saw him once when he attacked us right at the beginning, and the 2nd time when we actually fought him on horseback. And then we had the duel on the bridge, remember? So this is now the 3rd time. Thank you so much for this. If you don't mind asking, what's your name? Bob. Johnny McEasycock. I'll never in all my life forget your kindness, Johnny. Little lady, I think you'd best save your thanks until we're safe in Kakariko. This swordsman of ours has great eyes, honey. They're proud and wild, like a feral beast. We need a beast right now to keep the true ones at bay. If we make it to Kakariko safely, we'll just thank him then, okay? Oh yeah, by the way, it's never actually 100% stated, but she's probably a Gerudo. I don't know what else to say about the Gerudo at this point. However, as I mentioned, several people... In fact, we actually showed off one of the conversations. Several people mentioned how she has it rough, and she's kind of seen as a underclass kind of a person, and blah, 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 blah. Probably related to the whole persecution of the Gerudo, banishment of the Gerudo thing. So she was a Gerudo who stayed behind after her people were banished. Or, I don't know how that would actually work, Taro, since Gerudo only breed other Gerudo. I guess you... Well, no, that still doesn't work. So, anyways, whatever. Point being... Ah! She could also be a survivor who came here recently. There's a lot of possibilities here. We don't know, because of course we don't. I'm going to start calling it Huthor effect. Is that cool with everyone? Oh, I need to hotkey this. I'm going to need this. There we go. And that. Dude, Telma's awesome. I just don't want her to kiss me. Notice, it's kind of hard to tell, I'm sure, but if you notice the mini-map, it actually shows you the route they're going to be taking. Which I thought was kind of cool. I agree, Shikor. In fact, there's only one cutscene where I don't like the other adventurers. So notice he's got 2 shields this time. He's ready for us. You got me last time. It's your turn, honey. We're counting on you. I got this. Maybe. I'm probably going to screw it up, because I always do. So this again. Look at this twist. Yep, okay. Nope, screwed it up. I knew I would. I always do. That's strange. Okay, apparently I don't remember how to do this fight, so we'll just make this up as we go. Okay, this is really weird. I'm losing control of the horse right before it happens, and I haven't saved in a while. Let's save really quick for no reason. Do I have a fairy? I do, actually. There we go. Okay, so apparently I was remembering correctly, just screwing it up. You're supposed to shoot him twice. And I was trying to shoot him twice, and it wasn't letting me. So, whatever. Apparently I just had to be patient. The worst of all sins. Listen, we always had the magnet grip, okay? As it should be. Damn. I got one of them. I need to be kind of cautious here because I'm really low on health. So we're going to let them get hit a little bit. So they're on fire now. That's their health bar up top. You see it? So we're going to let them pass us. And then we're going to put out the fire with the wind. So if you're paying attention, going back to that whole dungeon design, you notice we're still not at the 3rd dungeon, by the way. Still. We are now unlocking shortcuts to progress through the overworld. Yeah, I missed all of them. Zoom out a little bit more here. Hello? Or not. That's cool. Oh my god. Oh my god. Okay, there we go. We're cool. We're cool. So they'll basically circle until you take out all the enemies, by the way. Hey, the horse is running in circles. Looks like it's startled by the bombs. So, we need to deal with the bombs, which means we need to deal with the enemies, which is what we're going to try and do. Got the fire really quick. Sorry, I'm being a little cautious here because, as I mentioned, very low on health. Of course, I immediately get hit. Why did I open my gob? Whatever. Every time I say something, I suck. Maybe I should just never talk again. The letterbox thing is every time you target Dakota. He has passed through the worst of it. As long as he rests, he should recover in due time. Do you know the fate of his mother? Oh yeah, she's mega dead. Her welfare consumes him. He has been mumbling deliriously about her almost constantly. I can see the knowledge grieves you. It must be an awful memory. I'll stay with him until he's better, no matter how long it takes. Yeah, thanks, Colin. I can see that, blow up, Alex. Is that so? Well, thank you, Colin. Hey, Link, about Ilya. Yeah, what? Is it true what they said about her? Yes, she has lost her memory, Colin, and regaining it will be no simple task. But it'll be alright, child. If we just give her some time, I'm certain Ilya will find her heart again. So I'd like you to ask you to stay in this village until then. It's our turn to show the courage you have already displayed. Nice to see there's still hope here. It's always good to see happy results repay your efforts. Those skills of yours, any chance you have a mind to put them to use for Hyrule? No, I'm done. What hope there is in our kingdom is frail and dying. There's still a group trying to do what it can. And I'm a member of that group. Call me Telma. I may just stay here a bit longer. I'm still worried about Ilya and... never mind about the rest. Oh, go tell him you love him, Telma. Jesus Christ. Link, I want to see you in my bar again, you hear me? The bar is actually kind of a safe house for my friends. There's a passageway that leads to the castle from in there as well. Remember that. If you ever need anything, just stop by. I'll be waiting for you, honey. I love her hair. That's right, Shikor. As I mentioned earlier, a lot of the references to Ocarina in this game are less overt than in Wind Waker. I am a big fan of background continuity, always have been. This game has a lot of internal continuity too, which is pretty cool. Hello. There we go. I am deeply grateful to you for aiding my son in his time of need. You are right to bring him here. Kakariko is a sacred place for the Zora people. It's where we take our eternal rest. And my husband in life, King Zora, also rests his spirit here. It is no coincidence my son found his salvation in this place. That which I have promised to you is within this grave. During his lifetime, my husband created garments specially for the chosen hero. Garments that house the abilities of the Zora. I actually like how the armor isn't just a recolor in this version, by the way. It's actually a different armor. Notice it actually says you're weak to fire and ice, by the way, which is a nice touch. It didn't say that in Ocarina. My son still knows nothing of my death. If you see him again, please pass on this message. Tell him he must not grieve his mother's passing. Tell him she wanted him to be brave and live as the king of our people. And tell him his mother loves him without end. Tell him... Well, it's a good thing you found all your friends and picked up that nifty Zora armor, but aren't you forgetting something kind of important? The last fused shadow? Remember what Farron the Light Spirit said? He said you'd need the fused shadow to defeat the Dark Overlord Zant and save the world. So even if you go back now with all the people you saved, the whole tragedy would just repeat itself. So let's go get it. We need to go to the temple on the lake bed of Hylia. Okay. First, let's equip that. I don't care for the helmet, admittedly, but like I said, I like that it's a different thing. It's a different outfit. Small touch, but I like the little, you know, artwork, decor they've got going on here. Couldn't really appreciate it on earlier versions. So while we're here, we actually do have something else to do. Because we need underwater bombs. Like, need. Which is gonna suck, but whatever. Yeah, we can actually swim for once. Holy crap. In fact, I think this is the first Zelda where a true swimming mechanic was built in. Wait. I swore there was a bug here. Yeah, whatever. I'm not hearing it or seeing it. Different kind of bug, Shikor. Much more valuable. Hey, Torchinator. Or, Torsionator, excuse me. Hey, water bombs. They're so advanced you can use them in the water. They're also mandatory, as previously indicated. Looks like your bomb bag has some other kind of bomb bug. So, you actually get multiple bomb bags throughout the course of the game, which is kind of neat. But it's also kind of a limiting feature because while you only have one bomb bag, you can only carry one type of bomb in one type of bomb bag at a time, which makes no damn sense. We'll get the full 15 because we're gonna need those bombs. I'm trying to remember where this... you can get a second bomb bag pretty early, but I don't remember where. But yeah, this honestly feels... It feels like they wanted to add the multiple bomb bags thing and made the mandatory bag limitation... the river... You're right. You're right. I think I could get that right now, actually. And they made the limited, bags per... or bombs per bag thing in order to make the extra bags more useful. While we're here. Let's just do this really quick. Yeah, bomb arrows are actually really awesome. I will generally not be using them at the moment because I have the water bombs. And Frozen Hollow Fox, who is absolutely terrifying. Like, have you ever seen a fox that is hollow and made of water? It's just, ugh. So, grab this really quick. I think this is just a heart piece, but whatever. Thank you very much, Frozen Hollow Fox. Much appreciate the sub as always, sir. Oh yeah, when you're underwater, this thing happens, which actually looks kind of cool, I think. But I'm a weirdo. Fox. 2. So noted, sir. Thank you again. We're probably going to take our break before we hit the water temple at the rate we're going. Lord knows I've been having a really bad habit of not actually taking breaks during my break, and it's been not helping. No, the iron boots still help you connect. So you actually still need the iron boots, because it's the only way you can actually stand on the ground. And if you can't stand on the ground, then you can't open stuff on the ground, like a chest, for example, like the chest we just had. It's also the fastest way to go down by far. And there's a couple specific puzzles in underwater that'll still use the iron boots. Here or there. Just going to grab something really quick while I'm thinking about it. Or rather, to test something. It's a shame Pugity isn't here because he was curious about this too. But we're going to decide if this is a negative or not. Dun dun dun. Toxic Lord. You thought lore was toxic in TNG. You had no idea. Mwah. Oh, actually, hold up. While we're here. Could have actually done this earlier. Isn't there something else to get here? No, I guess not. Whatever. It's open now, so I don't have to think about it later. What I really want to do, though, let's pull this up. Okay. A little further than I thought. So, I gave a plus for the fast travel in Ocarina, and I stand by that plus. As much as the plus in this game, I praised it for being better, I actually forgot that it's actually kind of worse. But I don't think it's negative-worthy, but I'm not sure if it's positive-worthy either. See, here's the problem. Ocarina functions a little bit more like a traditional Final Fantasy game, in that there's a very definitive freedom point. Up until a certain event, which is actually basically about a dungeon and a half ahead of us right now, up until that event, you are very limited on where you can go and what you can do, as I've pointed out earlier, because of the terrain and what you can interact with, and blah, 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 right? Is he actually here? He is here! Holy crap! So it's not bugged anymore. Woo! But at a certain point, which is, like I said, is about a dungeon and a half from now, you will unlock the ability to basically go wherever and do anything. That's also when fast travel really unlocks. You can't really fast travel right now. It appears your efforts have begun to restore some vigor to Hyrule, but it's far too early to relax. Do you feel ready to earn another hidden skill? Before that, show me the shield attack. That's not the shield attack. There we go. Excellent. Very well, my third hidden skill is the backslice. A mere shield attack is no match for an enemy protected by not just a shield, but a thick, full body coat of armor. Such enemies often focus on guarding against frequent frontal attacks. They often leave their rear unprotected. That's when you do probably the best skill in the game, honestly. This is incredibly useful, even against normal enemies. And there's some enemies specifically weak to it, too. You carry yourself well, but do not forget proper timing for swinging your sword when you jump. The third skill has been passed on. There are 4 hidden skills remaining. Do not neglect your training. May we meet again. So, now that we grabbed that... yeah, let's grab Epona. Sorry, I'm debating. Since we're basically done with the Dungeon 2.5, I'm debating where it sits on the plus or minus scale. As I pointed out, and this is pretty obvious, it was a huge chunk. We've basically spent all of today doing Dungeon 2.5, the lead up to Dungeon 3. We will not actually reach Dungeon 3 before the break at this point. I mean, we could, but I'm going to cut off before then. I will admit I do like how they streamlined the bug-catching sequence substantially. It probably doesn't look like it, but trust me, that was much worse in the GameCube version. Which I know isn't much of a thing. But less bad is still less bad. That's kind of what I was thinking too, admittedly, Blue Wolf Alex. I do like how we have to do a side quest, which I don't want to even start until we have the Freedom Point, Malachor. We technically, I think we could complete that side quest right now, but it would be a hassle and a half to do at this point. I'd much rather have the Freedom Point first. Anyways, yeah, there's no dead time here. And I would argue there's very little padding, too. That's, of course, just my opinion. Oh, yeah, by the way, you can't just jump over the railing anymore to get down. So, I keep mentioning points at which I was stuck for stupid reasons. Oh, hello, I heard that. Yep. A few more rupees for later. Anyways, I mentioned how I kept getting stuck at stupid points for stupid reasons. So I was stuck here, because what we need to do is we need to go down there. We need to get back to Lake Hylia. Oh, wow, I never noticed that bug texture in the background. Anyways, and so I was really confused on how to get back there, because last time we just jumped down. And it's like, I mean, the lake water's there, why can't I just do that? So I will show you the intended method of getting down. Now that I actually know what I'm doing, slightly, barely, kind of. That would actually be really funny, Kira. Here, I left behind the secret items. Where are they? They're all right here. Here's the end game gear. Huh? God, he's terrifying. 20 rupees. Which means I need to make at least 20 rupees. So this is how you get down. You spend 20 rupees. Now you can just drop. You probably want to get at least some of your rupees back. So you notice there's green rupees there. There's a blue rupee way over there. There's several paths you can take down. I'm avoiding all of them because I'm an idiot. If you land here, you can actually get another one, as you can see. Which means you get one more shot at getting this. Now, I'm pretty sure I failed at this. Yeah, I did. I'm too low. Wait, I'm only getting a third one at this rate. Jeez, I really screwed up. Shouldn't have shown off the thing. Pretty sure the top one's a heart piece. It's a stamp. Wow. Okay. Anyways. If you remember, this is the section that was still underwater, even when this place was drained, thereby preventing you from getting access to it. It's actually a little faster to do this. Sir, you wear the garb of the hero in my people's legends. Are you perhaps... Well met. I, dear hero, am a maker of bombs. Have you heard of water bombs? Oh, they're very dangerous indeed, but you should be able to master them. I'm sure you'd find them quite useful. How'd you like to buy some water bombs? So on the off chance you don't have water bombs at this point, he gives you the option to get them. Very small convenience feature. So yeah, this is the water temple. What time is it? This used to be called Zora Temple, but now it's overrun by demons and darkness and incredibly evil stuff. Whoops. Anyways. I think what we'll do... I know this is a little bit early for me, but I like the idea of cutting off here, because this is kind of a long dungeon. So, we're going to cut off here. And we'll be back in about an hour, guys.